Well, happy hump day. Try to make this as brief as possible. So I haven't been around either TikTok, YouTube, or Rumble because I've been going through a lot of changes. October I lost my job. November I separated from my husband and filed for divorce. My oldest kid overdosed. Unemployment hadn't kicked in till December 25th. Happy birthday or Merry Christmas to me. I was hoping the new year would be a little bit better. Trying to help your kids cope with losing a parent is one thing. Losing a parent you've been estranged from. I divorced my first husband when my youngest was 2 and my oldest was almost 4. My oldest has always had a resentment with me and blamed me for him not being around when, I'd hoped as an adult, they would realize that he walked out on me. He walked out on me. He wanted to be in and out, have his cake and eat it too. And I'm sorry, I don't share my men. I'll share my food, I'll share my toys, I'll share my smoke, I'll share my drink. But I won't share my man. And that's what he wanted. That's why I said, so sorry. Not speaking that English. So my oldest, unfortunately, has a record with the law. My youngest has learned from my mistakes, her sister's mistakes, and everything in between. She struggles. She's epileptic. She's got enough bullshit on her plate, but that kid's kept her shit together. And she's struggling with this. So is my oldest in her own way. You see, let's see, where do I start? Before my oldest graduated high school, they reached out to their biological father. I had remarried a second time, and their stepdad had pretty much stepped in and where he wasn't there, he was there. He took them shopping, he dealt with their first boyfriends and busted them for drinking and smoking and, the list goes on, your typical teenage shit. Dad, his family, when I divorced him, they divorced us. They walked out. They never thought back. They didn't think twice. In my divorce, so my conscience was clean, and he couldn't use me as the excuse for why he didn't talk to his kids or come around his kids. In my effing divorce from front of the court here in Michigan, don't ask me how it happened, but it did. He had to drop. Oh no, I know why it did, because he was abusive. He was a victim of domestic violence. That's how. He had to drop off and pick up at my folks' house. My folks are well into their 80s. Their landline ain't changed. Their address has not changed. So, whereas his family wants to claim, well, we didn't know how to get a hold of you, I call bullshit. My youngest says, bullshit. My oldest is too warped in her recovering addicted mind that she can't see past the nose on her fucking face and realize that not only does she have a full-blown adult sister who's also trying to deal with the bullshit she's going through, but she also has a 10-year-old sister who, mind you, grew up with their dad. Oh, and God forbid I have some of my own issues because, she got the phone call from Blackman Township here in Jackson County only because she has a record. They tried to call his aunt, their great aunt, who in her 80s, she's a senior, obviously well into her 80s. I wouldn't answer the phone to somebody I didn't know either. Comes restricted, you're like, oh, sketchy shit, so you don't answer. So they had no other alternative. They're not going to leave a message, your nephews, we found your nephew. Do you know this man? We found him deceased. So they went on to the next, way that they locate people. And, the police, all they have is their criminal database. They don't go through the hospital. Had they have gone through the hospital, they would have found his other daughter, adult daughter, in Jackson County, and they would have contacted her. But they went through the criminal database, and they found her because she, as a recovering addict, she became that way because she chose to move out and be homeless. Yeah, my life ain't been no fucking picture show. I've been through a lot of shit. And it only gets better. You know, as they were children growing up, you know, when I first got my divorce, little, let's not call them children, they were little babies. They were like 2, 3, 4 years old at the time. 2001, 94, 96 is when they were born. Okay, well, you do the math because my head is spinning today. It's jammy day for Nana. I did my healing singing yesterday, but I just thought I'd share with you the shit show that's been my life for the last couple of months. And I was hoping 2022 was going to get better, and it just really has not. Her and I had an argument that morning because she had OD'd and had nowhere to go, so I took her back in the home, her and the little one, while I am already raising the other little one she has. A little ungrateful there, but hey, it's no biggie. You know, let me just keep on doing. We had gotten into a big old fight. She's not taking her meds. She's repeating the same shit that gets her into this kind of trouble and wonders why she finds herself in the same position. I kept telling her, honey, you can't keep walking down the same road and expect to see different houses. Change. Get away from them people. They don't give a shit. How you end up at my house all the time. If these people gave a shit, they'd care and they'd say, come stay with me. But no, you end up here and you call me the toxic one. My house is so damn toxic, leave. My house is so damn toxic, don't expect to leave your son here with me and babysit for him. Obviously, Jackson County courts don't think I'm toxic. Yeah. It was ugly. It was a really ugly argument we had. We both went, we came home, dropped the kids off, laid down, and next thing I know, that toxic mommy, you're screaming, Mom, my dad. Your dad? I call him your fucking dad. Let me just tell you, her sister calls him her sperm donor. Ran into her at Myers in Jackson with her, I can't remember, I don't think she was married at the time. I think she was like just, she was dating heavily with her husband. How you not know your kid at the fucking grocery store? Or are you gonna see your kid, know your kid, and not acknowledge her and say hello because you got your little skanky 2-bit hoe that's only a few years, if not close to the same age as your daughter? Sick mofos is all I'm telling you. There's a lot more to that background. We'll get into that on a Rumble channel day. He was married 3 times. 3 times. I was the first wife. Second wife was the sick, psychotic psycho that couldn't have children by him, so refused to allow him to be a father to his own children. Okay? Anytime she entered his life, it became nothing but chaos and it was ruin. There's more on that little trippy chick. But I washed my hands of it. I divorced him, I washed my hands. I moved fucking on. As hard as it was, I had 2 kids I had to take care of. I had time for that bullshit. I had him in therapy. I found out him and that bitch locked him in a fucking closet. Yeah, I did. And in Washtenaw County Center for Family and Child, I think it was, whatever, therapy place back in the 90s said, well, we can't get involved. It's a custody issue. I go, yeah, but there's child abuse going on, motherfuckers. Are you seriously? So, just talking to my big German friend, talking to the guy, one of my ex-boyfriend from high school that I dated probably more years than I was married to this man, introduced us. Always felt so bad. That sumbitch went $33,000 in the hole in front of the court, non-payment, and I did not do a jail day in jail. Went working under the table in front of the court. We can't find him. We don't know where he's at. He's not working. Yeah, he's working, motherfucker. I'm telling you, he's working. He's a damn mechanic and a good one at that, but when he wasn't high. My friend, my boyfriend from high school because he introduced us. Felt so guilty as a truck driver. The motherfucker went searching the streets and found the bastard working under the table. I did front of the court's job for him. You're welcome, motherfuckers. And they still didn't do shit. Exhausted vacation time at U of M trying to get this shit done. I was done dealing with him and that psychobabble bitch. I moved on. It hurt like fucking hell. That motherfucker called me, him and her, incessantly threatening me. My youngest used to lock the door, deadbolt. She said if Dad ever talked to you, she was gonna kill you. Come on, bitch. Bring it on. You threaten my kid like that? I called him. It's one of the last times he saw his kids that he had to drop off at my mom's. I called him. I did. I had a nice little, I used to do my little therapy sessions with my friend. Had a Corona, sitting in the basement smoking a cigarette at my old house. The house that he fucking let go, didn't pay the fucking, which was our agreement, he was going to pay the fucking rent because he was so behind and shit. Let me go into being kicked out and getting evicted. Told me that they wanted so much for the house because my parents wanted to buy the house. And he lied because he didn't want my parents to buy the house. My parents bought the house so that my kids didn't have to move. They'd gone through enough. That's what my family did for me. Thought he was gonna get the house and the divorce. Psych! Yeah, try on. Him and that nasty little hoe. Karma got him. That's all I can say is karma got him. I didn't need to wish bad on him. All I wished was for karma to get a hold of him and do justice. What she thought she deserved, may he get. But you know, karma was nice to him because that fucker got a second chance to be a daddy. For 10 years he played daddy. But guess what? While he was playing daddy, I don't know if the third wife was okay with him banging the second wife. Or if that was just a, I don't trust nobody no more. I can't trust nobody anymore. Nope. My gut has never led me wrong. My gut tells me she knew all about this, and I think that they were all in some sex bullshit ring, trafficking. Who the fuck know? Who the fuck know? I'm just glad my kids didn't grow up in that nasty ass shit. And now I gotta worry about my kids watching this. And if they do, well, the truth fucking must be told. The truth will come out. I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but I must speak the truth. My oldest is going through hell. Hell. Her daddy this, her daddy that. I miss my dad. What are you going to miss what you ain't had? My youngest is going through hell because she had to come with me. She was there when we were on the phone with his aunt who been, mind you, this is what enabling. Let me. You know what enabling is? Is what his aunt did for him. He was well in the trench of addiction. Send him to a methadone clinic. Methadone gets you high. Why are you going to send him to a methadone clinic? Send him to a fucking rehab. She's a goddamn nurse with her BA. Are you stupid? I'm not even a nurse and I know methadone ain't going to help nobody. Were you that bad addicted? In how long you been using, motherfucker? You're going to send him to the methadone clinic. He got kicked out of the methadone clinic because he was still using. But he ain't got a problem. He got kicked out of the methadone clinic. You should have had his ass in rehab. That's enabling. Okay? Then he loses one of the best jobs he's ever had, working at Varsity fucking Ford. He was a great mechanic when he could keep his head on straight. One of the best fucking mechanics around. Lost his job. Must have been high at work. Who the fuck knows? So couldn't find a job. lost his license. And this was a man that loved cars. He loved fast cars, classic cars. It's what was one of the reasons that him and I got along, and we were, one of the things common things we had together is we both like classic cars. We love going to car shows and drag races. I mean, lost his license. So he got in a wreck. He wrecked a Fusion he had because he rear-ended a semi on 94. Should have been left for dead, but good Lord have mercy, somehow God spared him. For what, I don't know, but he sure as fuck didn't use that chance. God gives you chances. Don't piss him away. He did. So he wrecked his car. What's his aunt do? She goes out and buys him another one. Buys him another piece of shit car. Beater with a heater, we'll call it. You heard of that. If you my age, you know what I'm talking about. Bought him another car. Put insurance on it for him. Oh, he had nowhere to go. She wasn't going to let him stay with her because, well, she lives with a roommate. Her roommate, we'll call her roommate because, again, we deny everything in that family. We don't tell the truth. We just pretend. It's if we just dig our head in the sand, no one will care, no one will know, and no one will keep asking. You're a lesbian. It's okay. I'm okay. I have no problem with lesbian people. The gays, I love the gays, and they love me because I am open, and I don't give a shit. I don't judge you. You're either a nice person or you're a piece of shit. I don't care about anything else. But she had to hide it, whatever. If that makes her feel good, okay, whatever floats your damn boat. Just don't push it on me. So she couldn't bring him back there because, good Lord, her roommate wouldn't have it. Thank God somebody in that relationship has a damn brain in their head. And if I'm not mistaken, I think her roommate was also a nurse. I think they went to nursing school together. I don't know. It's been a long time since I had to deal with it and remember that kind of shit. But anyways, I digress. Didn't have a job. Had nowhere to go. So she gets him a hotel room. Hotels get expensive at the extended stay in Ann Arbor, Jen, where the fuck she put him up at. She paid for it all. So he ended up at some sleazy, skanky motel on Lansing Ave, across from a graveyard. She paid his auto insurance. She paid his rent. She brought him groceries and bought him cigarettes. This poor 80-year-old woman, in such denial, enabled him. And I had to find her number. 20 plus years ago, I divorced her nephew. My kid gets the phone call, and I gotta find her fucking number. Luckily, I'm going through a divorce, and I cleaned out all my shit, so I found an old address book that I'd kept just, I don't know, for shits and giggles, I guess. Oh, Lord, why have you brought me to this? I just don't understand. Lord, why have you brought me to this? So I left her a message to please call me and who I was. Can't really say that on someone's fucking voicemail. She ended up calling me back because she checked her cell phone. I forgot to leave who I was on the cell phone, but the landline, I must have composed myself because I was trying to deal with my daughter who was fucking almost hysterical. Adult kid hysterical from her estranged father's death. Oh my God, yeah, I get it, you're shocked, but you had a relationship. Oh wait, no, I take it back. Her estranged father hooked up with her as she was using, because this was her second overdose here lately in November. The first one, he was around and he was using with her. I have screenshots of the first time she overdosed because she gave me her passwords to her Facebook, and he was messaging her asking for puppy chow and ice and all sorts of ice cream bullshit. I don't know what the fuck that is, but I know it's street code for drugs, baby. Motherfucker was asking his kid for drugs, and I'm supposed to sit there, and I'm not supposed to be killing the devil. I ain't speaking ill. I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the fucking truth. And all them motherfuckers on that side of his family. Really? Really? Well, I almost lost my kid twice. So, I don't wish ill on the man because the way they found him, obviously, is leading to an investigation. And, well, Nobody should die that way. Even after all the shit he did, the abuse, whatever. Nobody should die that way. He got off easy, motherfucking again. Motherfucker died, he got off easy again. He should have lived a long, healthy life. A long, painful life. Watching his daughters succeed, and watching my youngest succeed and be wonderful, and just saying, fuck you, I don't need you, motherfucker. You didn't need me, you didn't want a part of me, I don't want a part of you. But no, motherfucker got off easy again. So as I sat there and I felt bad for his elderly aunt, I had an oldest who's a recovering addict as well, and I thought, well, maybe what better way to, boom, wake your ass up. Let's go help her clean out your dad's stuff. First wife. I'm not the second. I'm not the third. I'm the first wife. Why was I doing this? Because I want to try to help my kids heal. My mom and my dad, what were you thinking, Lise? What were you thinking? Yeah. Thinking of my kids, thinking of trying to help out. My youngest says to me, why didn't you ask me to go? And I said, baby, because that's nothing you needed to see. Really, I didn't want her to see that. She already has enough bad memories of that son of a bitch. She didn't need another one. Really? She already knew what the house of an addict looked like because of when we had to go clean out her sister's place at Blair Park. She knew exactly what it looked like. And that's exactly what I walked into. I told his aunt, I said, we'll meet you there. We'll help you clean it out. She goes, I don't think I can do this alone. I said, yeah, I don't think you should. Just bring a mask. I'll bring some gloves. I forgot the gloves. Thank God she had extra because it was nasty. And this man used to beat my ass when the kids' toys were laying around and he got home from work. And the way that place was, shit all over the floor, pop cans strewn here, food unopened, shit all, you could tell an addict lived there. So my oldest, she comes in. She walks in, and it was not a pretty sight what I saw. It's one of them efficiencies. So you walk in, there's like a bed, then you got like a closet next to the bed, then you got directly in front of you like a thing for a TV, and then you got behind, all the way against the wall, you got like a mini, it's not even a mini, it's just like teeny tiny like sink and kitchen and mini fridge, cabinets. Next to that, you got a bathroom. The door was half open and literal shit on toilet paper all over the floor in there. Stunk from high heaven. I had to use, I don't even remember what Sarah told me to use. I can't even remember. I had to get my essential oils out to get that stench out of my nose. Plates all over the place. She walked in. She immediately, she like zoned in. She walked in, she found that plate with a straw on it and white residue. She said that motherfucker was actively using. She goes, Linda, he was high. He overdosed. She put it down, she walked out. She couldn't walk back in because it nastied her out. It grossed her out. She just could not do it. She went and sat in my car while I literally cleaned up his shit yet again. First wife. Not second, not third. First wife. His third wife knew about it, didn't contact her, didn't make any attempt to go help or do any of that. I know we were all in such shock. Please, y'all had contact with him, I didn't. I was in shock. So, cleaning up the place and, doing what I could. And, there was only so much that I was willing to do. She was gracious enough to offer me the food because she had gone there New Year's Eve. She said the last time she saw him was New Year's Eve. She'd gone there New Year's Eve, brought him food, put money on his debit card so he could pay his rent. Brought a pack of cigarettes. 2 packs of cigarettes. I think there were 2 packs of brand new packs of Marlboro Reds. Yeah, I smell polo. Had to switch brands many years ago. Anywho, not a pretty picture. The bed was blood-stained. There was a pool of blood with feces, and I'm not sure if it was, because when you die sometimes you lose your faculties and you just or if, the fact that they were looking into it, maybe he had sat for a couple of days and had the bloat, and then when they tried to move him, kind of like he did that kind of, I have no idea. But I'm glad they're looking into it, because I don't know what the hell. But she got to see it. She blames me. She says I'm trying to make it all about her. So, of course, the whole time I'm there, his aunt's, I don't think he was using, he had a thing on his, he had a bump on his abdomen, and I think that it maybe been a cancer. He was using, he probably OD'd. I'm really sorry to say, but he was probably OD'd. Look at the lifestyle. I said, this is not the man I was married to. I said, honey, I know it's hard for you to understand. I said, I deal with it every day because my daughter is an addict. She's a recovering addict. She struggles to stay clean. I go, this is how her house looks when she's using. He was using. The man I knew was a neat freak, and I got my ass beat for it. Anytime there was dishes in the sink or the kids' toys were laying around. Tell you, a lot of shit comes flooding back. A little anger too. A lot of anger, actually. Thank God for my family. Thank God for my sister. So I did the best I could. I she wanted to give me food and stuff, and I was like, yeah, no. I go, this is kind of like Skids Row. This is where people who come that are like at their lowest of lows. I said, don't throw away the food if it's good. Especially the stuff that doesn't go bad. I said, the non-perishables. I said, bag them up. I said, we'll ask these people if they want them here. And, I went walking down, and I met a couple of the neighbors who were really, really, really some, God bless them people, just really nice, and gave a lot of information that I wasn't sure that the police had. So I told my oldest about, and then she came so she could hear it firsthand, because she might be like, my mom said. I said, it doesn't sound good. I said, go ask them, say, hey, my mom said that did you. So she got that information and she passed that along. But I'm the evil psychotic bitch, and I was making it all about me as I'm trying to help people process. A man who I was divorced from for 20 plus years, who beat my ass, threatened me with his second wife. And this I know. You want to know how I know his second wife was? Because when our divorce was final, within that week, by the end of the week that our divorce was final, the ink wasn't even dry, and that motherfucker filed for a marriage license and had gotten married in Washtenaw County to that bitch that he was fucking before. Before he and I dated, he was fucking around with her. While we were married, he was messing around with her, and that's the reason that he left. He and I could have been good friends had that bitch not been in the picture. They say behind every good man is a good woman, and that is so true. Are you equally yoked? A lot of bad memories with that number 2 woman. So I felt bad for Zant. I went home and I processed it, and I talked to my youngest daughter and processed some more, because she was just really struggling. They are. And what do you tell a child? What do you tell a grown child about? For years, I've told them over the years, I've always said, You know, maybe your dad doesn't come around because he just, not that he don't care, maybe he just doesn't know how to love. Maybe he just never knew how to love. He didn't have a father. He didn't have a father figure. I said, maybe this is his way of showing how he loves you, because he knows I'll take care of you. He knows you'll never lack anything. I don't know. That pissed me off. Pissed my family off. We're still pissed off right now because we're dealing with it again. Picking up the pieces after that family goes and tears it all fucking down. I wish karma on all you motherfuckers. That's all I got to say. I wish karma on all you motherfuckers that enabled his ass. And that turned your back on his kids. Trying to process my own shit that was going on before this was bad enough. Then you threw this on. God, do you think I am a superhero? I am not. I am truly human. I am the furthest of human beings that you ever created, dear Lord. Why do you think that I can handle this shit? So in order to help his children grieve, I thought, you know, I asked his aunt, you know, what are your plans? She says, I want to do cremation. I'm like, okay. And she goes, well, maybe we'll do a memorial in the spring. I go, why? You know, he's got a 10-year-old daughter. Yeah, my children have a half sibling that's 10 years old, and they're almost in their 30s. She got to be with Daddy. She grew up with Daddy. Wasn't that nice? Snub your nose again on my youngest. I said, I really think that that's kind of a long wait, and his children need to heal, and they need to work through this because it's a lot to go through and to process. I said, that's just, you know, putting off the inevitable. Rip the Band-Aid off, get it done. Not an answer. So I said, you know, fuck it. So I said, you know what, she's not going to look into anything. I'll do it for her. Considering I found out that she was paying for everything for the last at least 2 years that I could gather from our conversation brief, you know, while cleaning up his shit. I thought I'd go online and look up cost for cremation because that's what her wishes were. And, wow, Ann Arbor's expensive shit. Woo! Y'all just cray on the pricing. $3,300 for that in a memorial. I was like, man, I don't want a memorial. You want a religious. I don't need nothing. I said, we don't need a viewing. We just want a room for a few hours that his kids can take visitors to, you know, who probably won't get any because he burned every bridge of any good person that ever tried to help him or knew him. But, you know, just give them some time to process and talk, and I don't know. Anyways, I thought it would be good. Ends up, it's found a place out in Chelsea that dropped a couple names and started with my most recent, my second soon-to-be ex-husband's family, and then one of my good friends, she says, oh, no. She goes, drop my name. Oh, yeah, that was a much better price. So I got all this information and talked it over with, I had his third wife over because he has a child with her. Second wife was sterile, and that's why she didn't like any of his children because she couldn't have any. So she just made sure at least the first two kids' lives were fucking hell while he was in them. So I asked them to come over, and, you know, if she needed help, she could at least have her, you know, older sisters around to deal with that. He being the superhero and all, right, Lord? Turn the other cheek. Something don't jive right with number 3, but we'll get into that. That's going to be a whole other video on Rumble. We discussed that it would probably, for everybody, if there were anybody that did want to show a memorial, weekend would be better, and this way my son-in-law didn't have to take time off of work, you know, that kind of thing. So we re-agreed to that, and then number 3 had to leave to get the 10-year-old back home so she could go to school. Yeah, motherfucker had all 3 daughters, isn't that funny? So I made the phone call to the aunt. It all seemed to suddenly, I offered to help, didn't mean I was going to take over, but it just kind of fell onto my lap and my shoulders. So what was I going to do? Walk away from it? I offered to help a little bit, so I had to finish what I started. I finished what I started, but I had to finish because others obviously weren't going to. So I called the aunt and said, hey, I know you've been busy cleaning his clothes and going through his things. And I said, just because I think a memorial sooner than later, because I was under the assumption that she was going to pay for the funeral, meaning the cremation and a memorial. I said, I just, I thought I'd help you try to find a better pricing because I know you've been paying for a lot of stuff for him. And I said, and it just was, I don't know that anybody's out there trying to help you, so I thought I would, and I gave her, the pricing that I had got, where they were at, and she was, oh, okay, that's nice, the one at Chelsea, yeah. And she goes, so who's going to chip in for that? I almost dropped my cell phone. She was on speakerphone, and both my kids were there, and I'm like, what? She goes, yeah, so who can chip in? He's got 3 daughters. I said, yeah, 2 of which are adults that nobody's had any contact for 20 plus years. I'm not going to pay. They don't have the means to pay. I said, I'm really sorry. I go, but I've been divorced for 20 plus years with him, and I've had no contact with him. I wanted to say, I said, I can't afford to. I said, I'm unemployed right now, and I'm taking care of, 2 extra mouths. I said, I can't afford it. And I wanted to say, and if I could fucking afford it, I wouldn't. Because it's not my fucking problem. I'm his first ex-wife. Motherfucker had two other wives after me. Why would I fucking pitch in for that motherfucker's funeral? Why don't you call his mommy that keeps asking you to buy this and buy that and do this and do that for him that he didn't even like? Didn't even like his own mother. Oh my God. And this is where me and my oldest, this is where her and I started butting heads. And it got really super ugly that like she packed her shit and moved out. And I said, now I don't even know why I did this. I think I did this just because I think it was pride, stupid pride, that I said, I'm not going to help you pay for the funeral. I said, but I said, you know what? I said, I'll cover the cost of the memorial because you wanted to wait until the spring to have it. I said, I'll cover the cost of the memorial because I think his children should be able to grieve immediately and process this and get over it. I said, I'll cover the full cost of that, but I can't help you with anything else. My youngest about fell over and was like, and my oldest was just kind of like, it couldn't get past the hold her own grief. The Miss Drama Mama in her psychobabble world. I told my parents about this. My parents are like, are you fucking insane? Are you fucking insane? So after number 3 left, no one had heard hide nor tail. I got real sick on Saturday. Some kind of 24-hour bug. Me and the grandbaby I got custody of. And you're gonna wait almost a week in to me going in, and I had gone on Friday. My daughter and my son-in-law, we went to go do the paperwork and shit. Because lo and behold, as I was making all these calls to funeral homes, a wake-up call for my oldest. She is not next of kin because she was called next of kin in the state of Michigan per every funeral home I called If you are not married and you have adult children, they are the next of kin. They. If you have one, them. If you have several children that are adults, they all must agree if you want to cremate, or in the state of Michigan, they can't. It has to be a majority rule for a cremation to occur with next of kin. My oldest heard next of kin on the phone call from the cop and was like, I'm his next of kin. No, you and your sister, because your half-sister is a minor. So in order for his aunt to cremate him, she would have had to, in the state of Michigan, legally contact my children and have them sign off on a cremation certificate. His mommy down in Virginia, because the law in Virginia is you have to get a death certificate, you have to have a birth certificate, which his birth certificate did not list a father on it. So that was somewhere down in Lansing. You couldn't go to the county courthouse in Washtenaw County to grab it. When we got married, I had to send away for it. Nobody knew where it was at. Who gives a shit? It's not where it is here. But his mommy kept calling my oldest, directing her what to do and where to go, and look in the car and look in here and do this and do that. You need this and you need that, and I want. Bitch, you want so badly, get off your ass from fucking Virginia. Go help your motherfucking younger sister out. Because you are the older sister. It is your fucking kid, not hers. She took care of him for you because he got taken. The brutal truth come out. His mother was an addict and a drunk. CPS took him from his mom because she got pissed and was high one night, and he broke a glass lamp or something, and she made him sleep in it, and CPS took him away. So he didn't end up in the system. His aunt and his grandma raised him as best they could, but he was in and out of trouble through his whole life. Let's just be realistic. Why didn't you tell him who his father was? Why wasn't that on the birth certificate? Why did all of that have to be such a motherfucking mystery? I still don't know who his father is. My children still don't know and don't have an answer for who their biological grandfather is on their father's side, because nobody wants to give that information out. Was he a celebrity? Was it Elvis? Or was it just some other Skid Row bum that you were bonking while you were fucking high, Carol? The anger, the stems, it's just the shit show that I've constantly had to deal with anytime I've had any interaction with that family. It makes me so disgusted, and I just would like to bitch slap these people into fucking reality. So yep, I got stuck paying for that. So son-in-law, my daughter took me down. They only needed one to sign the death certificate, or like the mock-up death certificate, because they were waiting for the ME to get back with them, and she had to sign off that it was okay for the ME to give that funeral home his body, because they were going to process everything. Yeah, the fun part was my oldest gets another phone call that, we only get only the updates she wants to give us, because, she has to feel special. Emmy called her and said that they were not going to be able to do a viewing. If they wanted to do a viewing, they could not, because there was no way any funeral home could make him look presentable, as he was in the advanced stages of decomposition when they found him Tuesday, January 4th. His aunt saw him last on New Year's Eve. God only knows how long he'd been sitting there. Like I said, the fucker died alone. Karma got a hold of his ass. I still think she gave him an easy way out. It's my opinion, my 2 cents. Yes, I am entitled to my opinion. Yeah, I'm not talking ill of the dead. I'm only talking the truth. Sorry. So yeah, there's where I've been. If you believe in prayer and you believe in God, the God I believe in, I said a prayer. I went and I took my sage with me to where he was, because again, I was married to the guy. I have 2 of his children. I wasn't with him because I didn't love him. I didn't have his children because I didn't love him. At one point, I did love and care for the son of a bitch. He just abused me to the point of where you can't love someone who treats you like that. So I brought my sage, and before I left, I told his aunt, I said, I hope you don't mind. I said, I'm gonna sage the place and just make sure that his soul is set free, so he wasn't bound to that nasty place. Why? Because I'm a good person. All right, I try to be a good person. I'll rephrase that. I try. And I said a prayer that night when I got home, and I asked God for forgiveness. And I told him, I said, God, I have to ask you to forgive me on this one. I am human. You made me human. And I said, there's been too much damage and too much pain and too much sorrow and too much hurt. I can't forgive him. But it doesn't matter if I forgive him. What matters is if you forgive him. And I know you are a loving, compassionate God, and I ask that you forgive him because I cannot. I did do that much. I am not sorry. I don't hate him, but I can't forgive him. My kids are still suffering. My kids are still suffering their childhood pains because he got off easy again. Did you get my drift? So I'm not okay with that. Karma, you did your job, but you let him off easy. So that is the update for News with Nana and why I've kind of been MIA, looking for a job, dealing with personal shit, and now this. I will try to come back and give you updates. I know there was something not long ago, yesterday, I think the Board of Education met with a school board, or with something with a school board met, and they're not mandating the face diapers, which I don't think they can because of what Stand Up Michigan did. And I know that they are going to be implementing the 1619 project, which is CRT, which I warned you about. Go back and look at the videos. I told you she was planning that money, she was setting it aside, and that was what she was setting it aside for. So I'll try to come back. I'll do what I can. I apologize. I've just been going through a lot, guys. So if you believe in God, like I do, say a little prayer for my kids. His kids. All of them. They got a lot of shit that they got to go through. Mentally. Physically. Say a little prayer for me. I kind of fell off the wagon of my health kick, but no better reason than the present to jump back on. So, thank you for listening to my little rant and rave and my update. I hope this video finds everybody well. I hope this new year has been much kinder to you than it has me and my family. I will come back because there are ties into where I think trafficking, sexual exploitation, I just have to get a little bit more information before I go down that hole. That one's personal. Thanks for listening again. Just remember, guys, knowledge is power. Share the knowledge. Be kind. You don't know the house. Every cross has their own house to bear. You just don't know. And remember, united we stand, divided we fall. God bless you. Thank you again.